Show me that. Here's Chipper.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Well, I look bald at this season.
We have a visitor from Quebec today,
Wonderful.
Chantel Perron, who's a Facebook friend of mine.
That's great. I thought about moving there.
Can't hear you, Chip.
Yeah, we can't hear him at all.
You can't hear me?
No.
Barely.
Barely, yeah.
People are logged on already, so.
You worked yesterday when we tested it.
But you can't hear me today?
I can hear
Sort
you.
of.
I
Not
can hear
well.
you. It's better.
Have you got it turned up all the way?
Turned all the way up. I'll have to use my theater voice.
Apparently they tested it yesterday and it worked, but
Yeah, we tested yesterday. You were loud and clear.
I don't know what's happened. I can hold my notes up and you can read them.
Oh. Good morning.
Hi, Sylvia.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
morning, Sylvia.
I'm at Quaker Haven. It's a beautiful morning. I just went to boat in.
Great.
Great. The message was about Elizabeth and Zachariah and how setting the stage for Jesus was important, but you're never too old to help God do his work, is the idea. Never too old.
That's good to hear.
There were probably 25 boats attending worship this morning. It's really fun.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Danvers.
Hey, I need to go find my camera.
Oh,
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There, how's that?
Here's your name.
Yeah, we see your name.
Just so we can.
I'm trying to see if everybody can hear me.
No.
Well, we hear you, but from afar, like really from afar.
Well, I got the microphone right up to my mouth. It worked yesterday. I don't know what happened.
Well, you'll have to use your big boy voice.
I can do that.
your stage voice.
Looks like Chris is sitting outside.
I'm seeing everybody.
Where's Dan?
Is there a way, sorry, it's the first time I'm using this. Is there a way I can see everyone, like all the participants in the same screen? Because I have to click an arrow just to see everybody. Is there a way?
Yeah, there should be an icon. Mine's up on the right that says speaker view. If you click that, it'll give you a chance to do participants view, and it'll show everybody.
You might have to take your cursor up there for it to show up. Mine doesn't show up till I move my cursor up there.
There's a speaker view or gallery view.
Okay, and I change it to, oh yeah, now That's the magic.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
magic. Thank you.
yeah. I'd remind friends that to hold feedback down, you might hit mute until you're ready to speak out of the silence, just because there's feedback if everybody has their mics on. And that since Chip has such a quiet voice anyhow, we'll want to be sure to do that. Are there, I earlier welcomed Chantel. Chantel is with us from Quebec. So she's a Facebook friend of mine and has been exploring Quakerism a few years, and there aren't too many Quakers in her neck of the woods. So are there prayer concerns or anything that folks would like to share at this time before we enter into some silence?
You can sing.
I'd like to encourage us to remember my niece and nephew who are missionaries in Peru. Some of you from West Newton have met them before. They have been in quarantine at home since early April and have been told that they will have to remain in quarantine until the end of June. So they are in a small house with 3 children. They run a children's home, which is also on the property where they live. And the person who's actually in charge of the children's home is a North American, and she came home and left her 5 adopted teenage children with Josh and Jennifer. So they're feeling cooped up, I guess would be the word. So your thoughts and prayers for them would be much appreciated.
Okay.
Those of you who've listened to the last several weeks, we've been talking about Mike Moyer and Justin Weber in Iowa, who have been seriously ill with the virus, and probably we thought we were going to lose both of them, and they've both now returned home and are recovering after
Oh, wonderful.
record-setting time in ICU and amazing recoveries. It's going to be a while before they're back to normal, but there've been lots of nice parades to welcome them home.
Mhm.
Okay, most of you probably will remember Jill and Rob Wiley, and they are now living in Norway. And I received an email from her the other day. My daughter-in-law, Jennifer, she teaches learning disability students, and she had Andre at the middle school at Decatur. And so Jill gave an update on their family, as well as messages for Jenny, who was a former teacher of his, and how well he is doing in school. And they're all fine and enjoying what they're doing, and they're learning Norwegian. And she is teaching now English in a school there, and everything seemed to be going well. And she says hello to everybody in Decatur Township and West Newton.
Well, again, welcome everyone. And Chip will be our worship leader this morning. So let's go into a period of silence. And when Chip feels led, he'll offer us some words. And then again, when there's silence afterwards, when you feel led to speak, just unclick your mute button and share what's on your heart. So.
Well, hello. I hope everybody can hear me. Brandon got me a new microphone, so I didn't have to look like the lips on Rocky Horror Picture Show. My name is Chip Pierson. My family has described me as eccentric, kind, loving, and a hoarder. Everything that I have learned from life, I've either learned from a Broadway show or a classic film. I live in what they call in Mars Hill the compound. We have 3 houses, and we're surrounded by woods. Is everybody having trouble hearing me? I live with my cats, Miss Taylor, Anna Mae Yi Wong, and Hagar the raccoon. Now, the last 2 live outside, or they did. I'm kind of a nervous wreck today because of yesterday, but I'll get into that because it's part of my message. When I was asked to do this for Amanda, I had all kind of funny things about, oh, I'm the understudy and all that, and I'm going to come out being Ruby Keeler and tap dance. But Brandon ordered this microphone. Well, I said that already. A year ago today, I was on the facing bench at West Newton, and we were talking about the race and how important it was to my family because they were all concerned with the race. Uncle Jim and Dad even walked to the race from Valley Mills to see it. And my mother used to work for both Tony Hallman and Wilbur Shaw, so the race was really, really important to them. Now, I don't know what the point of my message was at that time, but I did well, except I had a wardrobe malfunction. Afterwards, Brent came up and told me that I was the only person that ever sat on the facing bench that wore dragons on their shirt. But ministry and counsel thought, well, I could do it because after all, there wouldn't be many people there. So if I screwed up, it wouldn't be too noticeable. Anyway, I'm thinking back on how we got here a year ago. I mean, there's no race this year, and things are just not normal. And I thought about what my message was going to be, and I thought, well, S is in spice, back to the new normal, expect the unexpected, and it's the small things in life that count. But that isn't the message. I'm thinking back on when I watched this. Now, like I said, I've watched too many movies, and I'm a history nut. And when all this started in China, I was thinking, oh, this is bad. This is so sad for those Chinese. I have a love for Asian art and studied Buddhism for several years, and I'm kind of feel connected with Chinese people. And I just kept thinking this was so bad. And then they locked down the whole city. And I'm like, wow, this is really bad. And then they were saying, well, some people escaped. Well, I kind of thought escaped. But anyway, they got out to infect yet more people. Then I'm still watching the news, as days go by. And then it's in Japan and South Korea. And I'm like, wow, this is not good. And then it got to California, and I'm like, wow, this is like a science fiction film. This isn't good at all. So I told my family here on the compound, and my friend Kenny, who works for me, he's doing a lot of work on Mother's house because it was built in 1952, and there lots of repairs need to be made. So he's there, and I said, I want to advise all of you, if you don't have enough food, go get some. And if you don't have any toilet paper, get some. Now, toilet paper was the least of my worries because my mother was a hoarder as well as me. And when I cleaned out her bathroom, I found rolls of White Cloud bathroom toilet paper that was blue. And I don't know when she bought that, but I remember she really liked blue toilet paper. So anyway, I hear on the news, well, if you live in the Midwest, you're safe. Nothing's going to happen. You'll be safe. And I'm like, well, according to the history books, the plagues didn't stop at state lines or borders. So my family was ready. And I did forget one thing, raisins for my oatmeal in the morning. And I went to the grocery store, and that's when the panic was going on. There was no toilet paper. There was no wipey things. People were just in a panic. And I'm like, wow, I saw this in a movie too. And I got my raisins and I went home and I decided I'm going to stay in. I went out and I was low on bird seed and corn because I feed all the deers and things. So I have 2 freezers on my back porch, and it's full of corn and bird seed and all that kind of stuff. So we were all prepared. Kenny was prepared. Kenny still continues to come and work for me through the week, working on the house because he's only around me and his wife. He can't work anywhere else because the other people that he worked for are either old or have elderly people in their home. So here we are surviving this. And I have only left the house 3 times. And to me, I call it the death run if I have to go to the drugstore or the grocery store. Drake's school was shut down. Troy was stuck up in Warsaw with his stepfather, taking care of him. But Brandon and Keisha had essential jobs, so they were still able to work. Well, the first week with lockdown, I ate all the good stuff. I sit in my chair and I rocked, and all the cheesecake was gone. And so I thought, well, okay, this is not good. I've got to get back on my routine. So I get on my routine, which is getting up at 6:30 every morning. I go out and I feed the cat and the raccoon first. Then I feed Miss Taylor. Then I feed the birds. And from studying Buddhism, what I do on my birds is I have lots of different kind of feed. I feed them, and I make designs in the feeding area to very pretty. I work on them, but that reminds me that the next day it'll all be gone. So nothing lasts forever. You make this thing because that's what the monks do with sand, but I do it and then the birds eat it. And then the deers come in and clean up what they don't eat, or the ducks the next morning. Okay, so this is all bad, and I lost a very dear friend, Jack Butler. And I put a sign out in front of my house. This is a memory of Jack Butler, and we're all in this together. Well, we all are in this together, but some of us are in different boats. Some of us are in yachts or cabin cruisers or houseboats. Some people they're just in a lifeboat full of family. They're not working. It's bad. They're having to bail out the water or they'll sink. And I just feel whenever I go to the store, I feel bad because I have money to buy stuff, and yet I pass people on 67 that are waiting to go to Gleaners to get food because they have no money or they have no food. And that breaks my heart. Now, I was watching a movie last night, one of my favorite Broadway shows, Flower Drum Song. And here's the whole point of my message, even though we're all in this. She starts singing the song, I'll spare you, I won't sing it. 100 million miracles are happening every day, and those who say they don't agree are those who do not hear or see. I'm so blessed. I lay down at night and thank God for all I have. And then I think, well, did I do anything today to hurt somebody's feelings? Is that how they're going to, if I die in my sleep, is that how they'll remember me? Well, he was a jerk. I hope not. I have 5 bird feeders, so I feed all kinds of birds, and I stand and I watch the birds and I lose track of time because they're so beautiful and they sing to me in the morning. And I have ducks and I have rabbits and squirrels and deer, and my life is really good. And I'm thinking, this is my new simple life. I like not leaving the house. I like communing with the animals. I don't want to leave. I want to stay here and not leave the house. While all this is going on, McGee had 4 kittens. Hagar had baby raccoons in the barn. Drake did get through school. E-learning was an absolute nightmare, but he passed. He's going to be in the 7th grade. And Grandma Artie, that's Drake's great great grandmother, was in the nursing home, and her roommate died of the coronas. She had it, and yet at 99, she has now tested negative twice. And I talked to her, and she's just a wonderful woman, and she still has her mind, so that's really good. Then I'm working on my message. I'm thinking, well, I tested the microphone with Brent to make sure it would work. And the storm comes in. Awful, awful. And I'm back here. I would not have been back here in my little office area if it had not been for me giving a message. And I'm sitting here and I hear the kittens screaming. Maggie had moved them to the window well right outside my room. And I heard them screaming, and I'm like, what is wrong? And so I ran out in the storm, and I opened up the window well, and they were screaming. They were up to their necks in water. And I jumped in, and I got them all out, and I brought them in the house, and I got them all warmed up. And I couldn't find Maggie, and she finally showed up, and I put the kittens and her in the bathroom. I got them all dry. They're doing well. I've moved them in. I really thought that Maggie would not want to be an inside cat since she's been outside all her life. But she's doing wonderful. She loves it. I've been up all night checking on them. They're like, why are you bothering us? So, and then Brandon came over and he goes, I found the mother cat. She was on a rock in the middle of the creek. And he brought her over, and I said, well, that's not Maggie, and that is a tomcat. So they were going to try to see if somebody in Mars Hill lost their cat. But I was so happy that he was able to rescue this cat. He heard it crying, and he got there. And I just think we need to be happy for the small miracles. Now, I was going to talk about going through the stuff, which I'm doing, and being the hoarder that I am. I'm sorting through stuff and all these little treasures that I find. But that wasn't really how I was felt to lead this message today. I just want us all to care for those that aren't in as big as boats as we're in, and to be grateful for every little thing that does happen in our lives. And I'd like to close with a quote from an entertainer. Her name is Coco Peru. And she said, enjoy the little things in life, for someday you will realize they were the big things.
Well, so I was sitting here in the silence and thinking of Chip's words, the Bible for a Bible verse kept coming to my mind, which was, "This is a day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it." I think Chip's words remind us of that. There is much to rejoice and be glad in, even in difficult times. So we come to the end of our time for today. It was good to see you all, and hopefully you'll be able to join next week. Feel free. I don't know who's leading worship next week.
Sylvia is.
Okay, so we'll hear from Sylvia next week. And ministry and council will have to meet and decide what we're going to do about continuing to meet via Zoom or go back into the meeting house, or a combination of both. Maybe we'll continue to meet by Zoom for some who aren't with us close, and we can still have people.
Please give it some more.
Okay. Well, thanks all, and
Welcome to me.
welcome to Chantel. And I'll post this on YouTube later today. So
I'd like to enjoy this a little more. I'm feeling privileged to be able to do so.
okay. Bye all.